Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Phoenix on the South Group. Every one of our groups have such a unique personality, and glad that we got together today. And this is what we do every week. We somehow get together as a group and do this incredible a time where we could share and find out what our members are doing. And that's what it's all about. If we have the people that we share various things with each other, there's always some commonality, but we're all unique at the same time. And this way, we can start our day. We can start really functioning in such a way so that we could run our business a little better. Because when we do everything by ourselves, there's always something missing. Not that we can't do it. We can. We can do it for a while. But it's always good when we can get together as a group, and this is really what it's all about. I always like to know what my co-members are doing, because in some way that changes the way I will run my day and so on. Okay, so just to give you a quick idea, we always try and keep track of how we are doing from a perspective of not only sales, but as far as when we are meeting. When we do a business activity meeting, you call it a BAM. We have a chance to catch up on what's going on with their family, what's going on with their pets, what's going on with their business, and when we have a chance to refer them, it's always nicer to know somebody when they are like a friend, isn't it? Because I always hesitate. I gave a referral to someone that I really didn't know that well, but we didn't have it in the group. We just didn't have a lawyer in the group. So I referred, and I really was hopeful, but I haven't heard anything back. I've talked to the person, and it wasn't a small referral. It was thousands of dollars. You know, when lawyers get involved with something, it's not just for, a few $100. But haven't heard anything back. There was no thank you. There was no anything. And so I said, okay, well, I won't be doing that again. And when I contacted the client, they said, he's okay. And I'm not happy with that. I want over the top, slam out of the park type of service, because when I give something, I'm giving myself with that as well. So that's what this group is all about. When we are friends, when we are at a point where we know each other's business to such a point, I'm more than happy to give referrals, because I know the clients that I send are going to be just amazing. They're going to be very happy with it. So I've become the go-to guy. When people want something, they'll come to me. I'm like a human phone book or a Rolodex. Going back, I'm dating myself a little bit there, but really, it's even though we have access to our phones and we have all these things that we have access to, knowing somebody, like when I want to know something, I go to Bernie. He is such a connector of people and business. I know I'll always get a great answer, and I'll always be led in the right direction. All right. So as far as this group goes, we have 356 referrals since the beginning of the year. 345 of them were part of BAMs. They're not really related, but it seems like the BAM and the referrals are really tight. They're really close together. So we know if we could go out and try to schedule a BAM or a meeting with one of our members, we know in some way that's going to come back to us either from another member, or our sales are just going to start moving that way, because that's what it's all about. E-cards are 50 or 6,400, almost 6,500 hits. We have electronic business cards with us, and it's always great when we can do that. I'm just going to share my screen here just to give you an idea of how we're doing from a perspective of, all right, where are we here? Okay. This is our hub, pbex.ca or phoenixbusinessexchange.com. And this is where everything starts off. So if you know you have a visitor, you want to bring everybody here, because this is where all of the action happens. Our member of the week, Lana Burnley. She's our realtor from the Monday group, from the Bell's Corners group, Bernie's group. And we have her e-card attached there. There's a little video that introduces her and everything. And every week we have a new member in this space. We have 4 ways that you can come into our space. Basically, 3 of them we do every week. That's the Monday, Wednesday, and the Thursday group. Today, Thursday is the South group. This is where we have a brand new personality sort of thing, and it all starts at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and this is where we do all that. If you press that red button, it has the Zoom already in it. And on October the 1st, it's usually once a month, we have our after hours group. 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and Penny Lee heads that up. She's our business concierge in that way, where we give her all our goals, we give her all the things that we would like to do, and we make them accountable so that we have somebody that is accounting for our business and our goals. If you are a weekly member, you can come into that space, and it doesn't cost extra. It's part of your membership. If you want to get that experience, where if you want to get a goal happening, just come into that space, and we'll help you trying to get there. If you need things, we have the resources or the people that can help you connect. All right. Every Tuesday, the East Trade Winds, Bernie heads that up. And this is a nice global get-together that Bernie has set up, and it's marvelous through the World Referral Network. All right, and the way to connect is in that red button there. I do my meditations every Friday at 1:30. It's a little disconnect for the week. We talk about various subjects. This week we're going to be talking about Are We Free? It's another continuation of the book, The Four Agreements. Penny Lee has her dance schedule posted there. That's her Nia classes. You don't know what Nia is. It's an energy and it's an exercise program combined. It combines so many things with martial arts and all kinds of movement just to get people going. But it's fun, and it's a really worthwhile to try that out. In our in-person meeting, our next one is our South group. This group we're doing on the 26th, which I believe is next week. So if we're meeting next week together, guys, we need to get some visitors in. I have one visitor that I have planned. We'll try to get her out. She's a hairdresser. So if you know somebody that has a business, let's see if we can get them out. Send some notes out. Just bring one person in if you can. That would be amazing. That would be that'd be a nice way to be able to show that person that who we are, what we do, and the kind of things that we could make happen with their business. The next one is our Bell's Corners group, which will be on the September 30th at the High Fives in Bell's Corners. They were the pub there. And the East group are meeting at the at Biggs on October the 9th. All right, in that personal meeting. This way we have a chance to be able to just meet in person and, again, catch up from a perspective of just one-to-one. We used to do this every week, but after COVID, we saw the benefits of Zoom, but we also wanted to be able to have that human connection. It was really important to be able to just know what the other person's doing and see people. So this was our answer, to do a hybrid system so that we could meet each other once a month, and the rest is still on Zoom, where we can still save on our vehicles and save on time and sort of get back to work. So it's working quite well. It's always great to be able to meet everybody that way. Our QR directory, well, if you have your phone, you can simply click this, get onto, it's like a whole plethora of all of our members that have their logo and who they are. And of course, the most important part is that QR. So if you press that QR on your phone, it'll open up the whole profile for them, and that way you can get a hold of them. You can call, or if you're at a supermarket, you can just simply open up that QR and make it larger, like you can when you have your fingers diagonally swiped, and you can transfer that onto someone else's phone. I did that once over the last few days, and I believe it was Carl that I sent that referral to. So if someone that is wanting a service, whatever it is, we have one. This is a quick way of being able to send their business card over to them. The great part is everyone else has yours. So it's important to just to know that this is a great little tool there, so that we can exchange quickly. Okay. So we have 129,955, and when I saw that figure, I said, "Gee, another $45 would have got us over to the 130." That's our sales that we are exchanging for this year. Since January the 1st, that's been our sales, and I have another roughly 7,200 to add to that for next week. 356 referrals, as we said, and that adds on to the 7,418 that we had since Phoenix started 8 years ago. We've hit 4.7 million in terms of shared business, and of course the e-cards there is just under the 6,500. If you know of a visitor that wants to find more about Phoenix, there's our QR, and there is our way that if you want to apply, so on. So we are part of the community. We're always trying to, help in community in some way through charity events. We're over 41,000 in terms of helping our local charities and so on with Make-A-Wish and the Eastern Ottawa Resource Center and others that over the years that we have helped. We're always willing to do that. So all of you that have donated or have been a part of that, thank you so much. It's just great to be. I'm honored to be able to get all of that set up for you. So it's great. And okay, that's been our time there, and let's go right into an education. Give a thought for the week. And Eric, would you have a little words of wisdom you could share with us, bud?
All right, so Kobe Bryant. Forget what game it was, but he was in a very big basketball game. He had, I actually was in his rookie year, and he had the last three shots of the game, and if he got all three shots, he won for his team. So he missed all three shots, and he was sitting on the sidelines, bowed down. His head was in his hands, and he was in quiet mode. Nobody talked to him. He didn't talk to anybody else. So then the interviewer comes up to him and had a moment just before they went into the change room. He said, "Kobe, you must feel really horrible. Your head, your head was in your hands at the end of the game. You had the whole team. You had three shots to make. You didn't make it." He goes, "What are you feeling when your head was in your hands?" And he goes, "Feeling? I wasn't feeling anything." And the interviewer said, I don't understand. He said, no. I wasn't feeling anything. I was trying to figure out what I did wrong, and I figured it out, so I won't do it again. So it's really super simple. We as human beings feel. We play the victim all the time. Oh, I feel so bad about this. Oh, I feel so bad about that. We talk about our feelings a lot, which is great, but we got to stop talking about our feelings. We got to stop thinking about our feelings. We got to acknowledge our feelings, but then we got to move on. We got to move on. And we got to say, okay, what can I do better? So as entrepreneurs, as business owners, what if we did something wrong for ourselves or for others? Best thing we can do is acknowledge it. Say, listen, I'm really, really sorry. This went wrong. This is how we can fix it. And that is what's going to win you that client over. And it's also what's going to let your client know that not only are you feeling bad about it, you've apologized it, but you're actually, and you know what actions are needed to go forward to fix the problem, to make the problem better, and then on the next area to find success. Because that's ultimately what we're finding. And we don't need the success to be what social media says success is, by the way, as well. Social media is a crock. I mean, it's beautiful. We all look at it and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at your success based on what social media tells you, you'll never be successful. So be successful when you have failed at something and you've uncovered it and you've figured out what it is, and you probably or may never do that again. So that's what we got to look at is let's feel what we feel. Let's acknowledge it, but then let's bring it back to where it should be. It's an acknowledgement of having failed at something, and it's an acknowledgement of having learned something that you will never forget in the future. So take care of that, everybody, and enjoy your day.
Yeah, that is great. Thank you, Eric, for that. Because we call it we choked is what they call is that you have to make a goal, and you're just always looking at you have to make this goal, you have to make this happen, and it doesn't work because you got everything. But as soon as you look at it inward and you don't look at it as a victim, yeah, that was great. Thank you for that, Eric. Well done. Okay, let's go a little bit into our introductions. When we look at the type of services that we do, let's in this introduction tell people when your services comes into play, because that's really what happens. It's not what you do that really makes it. It's when does somebody need your service that the people are at a certain point, because that will make the determination in your mind that you need to position yourself so that you're looking at the when. When does something that happens that need your services? So let's start with Norm. How are you doing, sir? Are you?
I'm
When
ready.
do we?
So Norm Boyer Boys Home Maintenance Repairs. This time of year is some of our busiest time. It's when people are getting their house ready for winter, for the cold that's coming in and the heat that's leaving. So that's what our customers are calling us for now. Weather strip their doors, repair their windows, replace the glass to high performance glass so that the house is more comfortable, and so they use less energy. The biggest thing in the next few years will be the cost of energy and the availability of energy. So if you want to make your house warmer this winter, call Boyer Boys Home Maintenance Repairs. We'll fix your home, and also the honeydew list, we get it done. So my t-shirt had to be redone because instead of saying honeydew list, it said honeydew miss, we get it done. So I said to the guy that made my shirt, I can't put that on my shirt. Oh, so you have to change it, right? Because honeydew miss is big difference in honeydew list. So Boyer Boys Home Maintenance Repair, we fix your home.
Yeah.
English was his second language, so he didn't
Oh
he
my
looked
God.
at it and said he didn't understand that that's not a good thing to put on a shirt. And
Yeah, that reminds me of somebody that bought some T-shirts and they spelled education with an A at the beginning. Education. Oh my God.
That's classic. You can sell them as a limited run.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Okay, this is how important we are. All right, over to Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to read you a quick thing I received from a client. I was quite proud of this. As the dust settles over this experience, I can better appreciate the moving parts that made this happen. I think you deserve credit and congratulations for having provided input and taken actions such as the air sample to put us in a strong position. Even though I had reservations about it and was concerned while we waited, and concerned still before I contacted so and so for an interpretation of the raw data. It was the right call, so thank you again for that. So I'm a realtor. I am a real estate agent. I'm an advisor with Engel and Volkers, Ottawa. And the reason I just read that is that what does a realtor do for you? A realtor is there at all points of your transaction. I'm there weeks and months before you even put your home for listed for sale. I'm there to advise you on how to best stage your home, how to best present your home, how to make sure the air in the home is a good air for a buyer to walk in. It's not too strong, not too weak, not full of Glade plugins, as an example. The toilet seats are down, the pictures are good, the light bulbs are the same. Let's move this, let's move that. A realtor can do so much for you. And as you can tell, what I did in that particular paragraph is that I took action because I knew that if we took action, we were able to get the answers we needed and the strength we needed from the selling perspective, so that we were not going to get bullied by a buyer, that we were not going to get blindsided by a buyer. And what am I saying to this at all times is that we don't know the information that we don't know. It's really super simple, gang. If you do not know the information, you cannot negotiate based on that position. You have no power, you have no strength, and you have no knowledge. So what we did in that particular case is that we paid for a certain couple of reports. We got them back, and we knew what we stood with. We knew what we were selling, and we knew that no matter what somebody else came back to us with, they could not tell us otherwise because we had the actual reports, and it was a scientific report that we got done for a property. So with that, my minute is up. I don't want to extend for the minute, but I'm Eric Perron, your real estate advisor. If you have any questions whatsoever, consultation, you want to buy, you want to sell, you want to invest, give me a call.
Thank you, Eric. How are we doing with BAMs or any referrals for this week?
Yeah, I just referred Norm yesterday, and that's it for now.
Okay. And Norm, how are we doing with BAMs or referrals?
I didn't have a band, but I have a potential visitor for next Thursday when I was at Montana's, and the young server got in a discussion with him, and hopefully I'm going to get him to come in on next Thursday.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, sir. And over to Q. Q, how are we doing this for this week?
Tony, hello everyone. My name is Q. I'm the insurance advisor of the group that can help you with life, critical illness, disability, and travel insurance. And if anything changes in your life, such as having a new job, getting a home, getting married, having a baby, etc., you must do a policy review on your insurance to ensure that it still provides enough protection for you and your loved one. And if you want to know how it works, please contact me so we can have a conversation. Q from World Financial Group, providing you with financial peace of mind when you need it most. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Q. Any referrals or BAMs for this week?
Yeah, so my friend will contact Sam this week or next week to set up a time to come see you, Sam.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
Thank you, Q. Awesome. And Steve, over to you, sir.
Yes, hi everyone. So I'm the graphic designer and web developer of the group. I help people with their online presence. I've been working on a lot of branding recently, helping somebody with a food company that basically produces garlic, and that's a fun one. Also going to be building a website for them. I've also done recently a book cover for somebody who's written their life story. And I'm going to be getting my copy of that later today. So I will be able to show that to you possibly next week. But I'm excited about that one. So there's a lot of visual stuff that I do to, give people a quick impression of what, in the case of a book, what the book's about, or in the case of a company, a quick kind of a logo. I also do infographics, which help people get a quick picture of a business in a graph, in a diagram. This is something that again I'll probably include in my next presentation. Anyway, for now, By Media Design is a company that helps you with your website presence. In terms of BAMs, I think I need some help from Sam with my car. There's a little light that went on, so we'll have to look at that. It needs service, probably an oil change. So I think that's the top of mind one for now. And I'm going to be working very hard this week and into the early next week to get a visitor to that group. Sorry, our meeting next week at River Lounge. So that's my focus.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Steve. Great stuff. BAMs, referrals?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay. No problem. And Sam, over to you, sir. Looks like you're going to be busy soon.
I like being busy. Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everyone. Sam Sturz, connectedcars.ca. And I get this mouse to work. There we go. Contact information's on the chat. Well, you know what I do. A dash camera is my main thing. I also do minor repairs, oil changes, brake jobs, things like that. But when is it time to call Sam? Well, Steve just mentioned it. The little light comes on in your car that says service vehicle. Might be a great time to come see me. Don't ignore those things. I actually had a client not so long ago that ignored the noises in their car and had major problems with their vehicle by the time they got to me. So don't ignore the little noises or the lights that come on in your vehicle. Don't turn up the radio to drown out that grinding sound. Not a good thing. So don't be doing that kind of stuff. Just give me a call. you can always record it. I've had people record the sounds, and then I can try and diagnose it even through a phone line. Anyway, besides that, BAMS wise, well, I got a few referrals there. I mean, Cube gave me a referral just this morning there. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you very much for your going to come see me. But last week I got a referral from Dave Bellalo, his friend who's got a Tesla Model 3. I was told that he needed brakes, and lo and behold, he did not. But he's going to come see me on Saturday. I get some minor sprucing up his brakes, but nothing like the cost that Tesla had given him anyway. Besides that, Matt Ledard from the East Group referred me to his father, and he's going to come see me tomorrow. So I think he's got some brake issues as well. That's it for me, Sam Sturz, ConnectedCars.ca, today's mobile electronics about the cost of a new vehicle, and, well, more.
Thank you very much, Sam. Awesome. Jacqueline, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. As we take a beautiful, long, deep breath and we lift our shoulders and we take them back and we drop them down. And we know that when Jacqueline says something like, are you looking to, or do you know anyone who's looking to rebuild their refinances or rebuild their finances after they call it a gray divorce? Did you know some divorces continue to increase between for instance, between 2010 and 2020, they were about 65% increase in gray divorces. And so when that happens, I get a call from a financial advisor or from the client themselves to say, I need to refinance my mortgage. What do I do? It's a new situation, Jacqueline. How can you help? So I asked them to take that deep breath, say, we'll get through that. There's something you may have heard about reverse mortgages or the CHIP, the Canadian Income Home Program. It's there for you to consider. Let's have a conversation. I'm gray, and I understand that people want to understand what their next steps are. So when you're looking for strategies, gray or not, for your mortgage money, you want to contact your mortgage honey.
That's amazing. So there's that much of an increase in the senior part of our wow.
Yeah.
And what's causing that?
If I get to talk about COVID, people have decided maybe there's some decisions that I get to make. And maybe it is the conversations now, you know, perhaps there's an opportunity for us to go out and find what we're looking for. And so they make a decision.
Right. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
And Bernie, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Bernie Fransford here, Creative Insight. When do you call Bernie? Well, if you're looking for something or you're looking to scale your business, and by scaling your business is not so much adding more wheels to the bus. It might be finding the garage to get the bus fixed. You know, if someone comes up to me, and this is, you know, part of the referrals and BAMs that we do, someone says, you know, I need my brakes fixed. I went over here. Well, I know a guy, right? Or, you know, someone says, listen, I need to sell a house. I know a guy that actually has in-depth analysis of what your house is worth, and you know, how it's performing when it shows up online. And you know, and that's because we have these meetings and have these sessions, and you know, and so I'd refer Eric right off the bat. You know, he's one of them that I would promote automatically. So that is kind of the nature of the beast of what I do. I've got a couple podcasts I've been playing with. Knack for Business is the primary one, entering season 3. If you know someone that would make an interesting guest that has a origin story or looking for retailers, you know, oddly enough, we're looking for the same thing for the Phoenix group. So, you know, that might be a leverage tool to help bring someone in. You know, as long as they can walk and talk, that's kind of important. If, you know, if they're entertaining as a brick, but that's not all people. That's very few, and that, yeah. But if you have a character and they have a good story, I'm more than glad to take them on as a guest. Booking into March 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernie. Yeah, I've listened to some of your podcasts, and they're great. Yeah, they're well done. Way to go. You've really taken that. There's so many subjects. No matter which one that I choose, I end up listening to the whole thing. So it's good stuff. It's a good thing to be on the road with, and you're listening to that. That's awesome.
Tony, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And how is any BAMs or referrals?
No, this week has been steady. I'm trying to play catch up between family coming in and then at the end of the month having to go out of town. Yeah, I'm more in get her done mode.
Right on, right on. Okay, yeah. So just a reminder for next week, we are meeting at the River Lounge at 7:30 to 8:30. Just as a reminder. Okay, we will send out a little a text a reminder on that, but just so you can prepare and try and bring a visitor then. And Jackie, you have a question?
Oh, just a comment that
Yep.
I had a BAM with Matthew Ledard
Yeah.
with Arizona. And I have, I think, fingers crossed, two guests who are coming. As soon as I said what, they asked what time. I said 7:30. And they took a long, deep breath, lifted their shoulders and took them back and said, I will think about it.
Gets them up, you know. I had actually one person in all the, and it doesn't happen often. I had one person that says 7:30. That's pretty late because they're used to waking up at 6 a.m. and getting going. You have to wait till 7:30. But you're right. It's somewhat
Yeah.
most of us. It's a 7:30 is your early time, but it
Yeah.
does condition us to get up early. So that's good. I remember the one group I was in many years ago. We started the meeting at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30, and it was an hour and a half meeting because it was 75 members and visitors in it. So it took a long time to go through all the introductions and the infomercials. We were finished by 8, quarter after 8, that kind of thing. So yeah, that was the world then. Yeah, with my BAMs and referrals, I sent a one of my clients to Shane. He's our chiropractor in the Monday group. They've already connected, so I'm really glad, and it looks like the client has responded, which is great. 'Cause I always tag both when you're sending a referral, like someone that one of your clients. I always do it in an email, and both of them are in there. So I says, here, John, here's Eric, here's John. And from here, you guys can take it from here. And then you can see in the feed that they're both communicating, and there's actually an appointment. So that's good to see. Ordered some meat with Dave and Dwight. I'm waiting to get some business done with him. He's trying to get some patties, one of his vegan patties, in one of the stores, and I have somebody already lined up to start buying those. I'm going to be having a BAM soon with Lana. Hopefully, we'll get that done today. And ongoing business with Eric Sinego, our accountant in the group. He does all of our accounting just to make sure everything works out, so we don't pay so many taxes. We had to pay a bunch of it, and man, it's really an eye opener. So I'll be presenting today, give you an idea of a little bit about when people need me. Well, one of the things is that when a person says that they feel off, you know what happens when somebody says that I just feel off today. I don't know what it is. I'm just off my game. From a perspective of where that means for me is the energy around them, because we're like beacons. We exude energy. I mean, you can see this in one of Norm's thermo devices where they could point it to you, and then you're just lighting up. But depending on the time of the day, you exude more energy in some times of the day than others. When you're feeling a little down, then that energy is a little more dimmed. So it's this exuding energy, and what it is, it's light. It's the different intensity of light. When we feel down, when we feel like we're broken, and let's say we missed 3 very important shots, our energy is very much different than when we are feeling on top of our game and we feeling that we are really good. And what brings us that exuding energy? Well, it's an internal thing. It's always something internal. It's never what somebody did or somebody that cut you off that changed things. It's always something within, and how you take that. So this person that Eric had talked about, they were looking within. Their energy would be completely different. It wouldn't have guilt. It wouldn't have regret. It wouldn't have the same intensity of, oh man, I let the whole team down. It would be more of an internal thing. Okay, what did I do? Okay, now I got it. So that won't happen again. In other words, it's a learning thing. When you're learning something, you're exuding more energy than you're playing the victim mentality. You're playing that the fact that, oh, I did something wrong, and it's a very, very healthy thing to do. Somebody cuts me off, says, gee, I guess they had to get somewhere, because the story is told one time of someone that got cut off, and it was such a violent thing, and then they ended up going through a red light. So the guy that he got cut off, he actually followed this person. He went through traffic and went speeding, and then he realized they're going to the hospital. And in the back seat, somebody was bleeding. He says, "Oh, I was gonna be all over this person. What the way you're driving, and give the person sort of a on the riot act." But then I saw myself helping the person into the hospital. So the story changes quite dramatically when you know the truth, when you start asking questions, when you start saying, what else is going on, rather than just seeing things at point blank range, at whatever that you're seeing, and you're judging from what you're seeing, not looking, or not even looking at asking of why would a person do such a thing. And so it becomes a lot more understandable, doesn't it? And you know what? If I have a loved one, my grandson or someone in the backseat bleeding, I'd probably do the same thing, and I'd break every law so that I could save a life. And if I have to take a ticket, I will do that. But that's what we do. So we are perfectly managed in regular, but when a 911 comes in, all of us will react differently. All right? And so when people judge that, then they're not getting the whole story. This is one of the things that we talked about in last week. Every Friday at 12, 1:30, I do an online class. It's a meditation class, but for the first half an hour, 40 minutes, we talk about various things in our lives that are very different. This week we talked about, are we free? What are the things that we have in our lives that make us free, that we feel that we can do whatever we want to do, say whatever we want to say? And we're not as free as sometimes we think we are. We have to watch really what we say. There are some countries now that actually knock on your door if you make a post on Facebook, and I have never ever seen that. We look at the freedoms that we have in various other ways, and what do we do with that? How do we structure it so that we can still feel free inside, even though some of our freedoms outside have been brought down? Because nobody can ever manage your thoughts, no matter what happens. This is one of the things in the concentration camps that I read a book a number of years ago with, I think it was Anne Frank, who was one of them. And in the concentration camps, the people that survived were the ones that they couldn't break. That they always, no matter what desperate things that they have, that they've already lost like 60 pounds, and there was no food, and there was, everyone around them, who's going to die today, sort of thing. And the people that survived were inevitably the ones that always had, well, when I get out of this, I'm going to talk to my grandkids about this, and I'm going to tell them the story, suggesting the fact that they're going to still be able to tell the story. And those are the people that survived. The people that gave up were the first ones to go. These are the ones, because your thoughts are always going to, I'm not going to make it. I'm just not going to make it. And your body and everything else will comply. But it's amazing how resilient we are when we just refuse to give in. Try it. I'm sure in your life you've been at a point where there was no end. There was no end in sight that something could get better. But there was something inside of you, just keep going. Just make another day. Sometimes you get to the point where just let me live, or let me get through this for another hour. When you're counting the hours that way, and things don't change, but yet in time they do, because we know that it's impossible, literally impossible, to have a bad day all the time, every day. It is. Even the people that are looking at the gloomy part, the pessimism and all of that, there's still going to be some parts of your day that's going to be positive. Like somebody is in front of you waiting, you're waiting to buy a coffee, and then somebody says, yeah, the guy ahead of you bought your coffee. What do you want? He says, oh, that's good. And so what do you do with that? Somebody had just did something for you, even the pessimistic person, and they still will go, well, I guess he did something wrong, so I was the person that made him feel better. In other words, he owed me, or you can look at always something through negative or a positive perspective. And so when that's the freedom that we're really talking about, is you have the freedom with your thoughts. What are you thinking right now, despite all the things that are going on around you? Because anything that goes on around you is because of your thoughts. Look at the house that you're in, and look at the people that you're associating with. Look at the business that you're doing. Somewhere along the way, this is something you wanted. You always wanted a business. You always wanted to be with a certain company. You always wanted to have maybe your own business. You always wanted to have a certain spouse, or have and you have this person. Now it's about living with them, through them, and with all the things that you have manifested. If you wanted something different, all you had to do was think about it for long enough, and then it comes in. It just starts to connect to themselves, okay? So I'm going to play you just a short little excerpt of the class that we did last week, okay? And for those that want to come in, that's great. But we also do recordings where we could send you this hour every week, and it's like $5 a month. It's just to take care of some production costs. But the idea then is you have something in your email every week, and it gives you sort of a segue about how things are in a certain perspective, and you can watch it at your own leisure because it's a recording. All right, so here's just a sample of them, and give you an idea of some of the things that we're doing and talking about that may interest you. And there is a meditation in this, so that there's always a creation that I do in there. So I'll just play this for you for a few minutes to give you just a taste of what we talk about. When we get it all together, we talked a little bit last episode on the awareness that we are not free. When we are not free, what does that do? It makes it so that we are always resistant to anything new that comes along, that the narrative or the things that we hear all the time is trying to continually program us to get to a certain point. And we're slowly waking up, though. As Spirit did mention in the last episode, that the large amounts of the population are starting to wake up because of the mini managing or micromanaging of our lives. They're trying to get into everything regarding our identity, all the confidentiality that we have. They just want to know what we are doing and how we can be controlled in various ways. So people are starting to wake up. So one of the things over the years is that we've been listening to all the things, and a lot of times we've just been in this mode where we are just trying to live our lives the best way we can, raise our kids, make sure everything's happy. But there's an underlying force in all of that that really wants to control everything that we do. And what Spirit wants is, yes, we take all of that within our society, but it's not that it's wrong or that it's just that it's incomplete. There's more to us than the way that we can pay our mortgage. There's more to us than just existence, than that we are just consumers. We are much more than that. And when we come in as babies, when we come in from non-physical, our main purpose is to try to find that clarity in physical form that we have in non-physical. Because when we are in that non-physical perspective, we know everything. It's like we just know it. We just feel, because there's nothing, the body isn't in the way of all of those clarity items. So when we come into physical form, that's why we do it, so that we can reattach and reconnect to that higher self of all of us, of who we are. And that is where the freedom is. When we look at what the problem is, we have to start with our personal freedom, and that is we have to realize in some way that we are an inmate. We are in a point where the people that are telling us what to do and all the rules and everything else, if we are just looking at that and just following it, then who are we in the end? In the end, we are what we listen to. We are the friends that we hang around with. We are the people that we have chosen to be. And sometimes when we don't make a choice, then the energies around us make it for us. So just realize either when you make a decision or a choice or not, it is that thing. But the whole idea is to find out what the problem is. And if you can't see or feel the mental prison that you're in, you will end up fighting to stay in it. You know, Spirit says it's a little bit like being in a cell, in a jail cell. You've got the walls, you've got your limitations. I mean, we were to use that in perspective of our lives. We have certain limitations we can go through. Oh, I can't do that, or no, that I don't know if I can make that much money, or I don't know if I can, take off a weekend because I'm just so busy with work. And if we constantly use that narrative within us, then those are the kind of walls that Spirit's sort of referring to. And it's being in this prison, and there is a door, but it's not locked. We just don't know it's not locked, all right? It's never locked. It's always our perspective. We got to pull the door because we want to get out. We want to be free. That is our innate, and that is our biggest quality about us, is we love freedom. We just want freedom. Some cultures, they don't understand what freedom is because they've been in a controlled environment their whole life, and they don't understand what freedom is. When we have a taste of what freedom is, it's really, really mind-boggling. And it seems like we have to keep fighting for it, isn't it? I mean, we fought for our freedom in World War II. We fought for our freedom in World War I, and many of the wars before and after that. It's always about something to do with us being controlled or us being in a certain situation, and we want to be free, so it's worth fighting for. People have given not only their possessions and everything, as it happened in World War II, people lost everything. They just moved in to your house, and you were on the street. And then, so is that worth fighting for? Well, people gave up their lives for that. We have many veterans that have gone through many of those things, and we owe them really a huge debt of gratitude that they fought for the freedoms that we enjoy today. And so what are we doing with that freedom? And so this is what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. Because if you end up really looking at all of the things in your life, and you're at a point where, I don't have to do anything that I used to be compelled to do. I feel that I can just do this. And that's when people in their advanced years, they start having blue hair. They start going on trips they've never gone to before. They'll jump on a plane and go to Egypt. You just talked about that this morning. Or they'll just do things that was really out of their comfort zone because it is their way of finding the freedom within themselves, that they can just decide at a moment's notice that they're going to do this. On a Friday morning, they could decide, you know what, I'm going to go to Paris for the weekend. There's a special on one of the airlines, and more often than not, they want you to stay longer because that's where the deal is. Nobody stays for 2 days, but you'll just stay for the 2 days for the $149, right? And it's just that you get that spontaneity, and it's that spontaneity that flares up that freedom within yourself because your spirit absolutely wants to do that. Like when you come home and your spouse says, honey, I've already packed our bags, took care of the kids, we're going on a trip, and I'm not even going to tell you where we're going. I say, yeah, I'm in. You don't even know where you're going. And you're in because it's got that excitement. It's got that freedom connotation to it. And that's what the whole thing is. When we find that, that's what we really want to stay in. But when other people are not there, when other people are still in that place where they're not quite ready to let go of these old belief systems, And in the belief systems, in the connotations that we're using it, it's all the BS. That's what it stands for. The belief system is our BS in our life. And when we try to get out of that, then when other people see, oh, what are you doing? Tony, my God, why would you quit your job? Why would you just jump on a plane and are you sure you know what you're doing? You know, there's all kinds of doubts, but they're putting their limitation of doubts onto you, and it has nothing to do with them. All it does is equate exactly where their energy is. They would not do such a thing because they're happy where they are. And we're not here to dispute that. But if you feel that you need to do something, don't let other people change that dream just because of their limitations and the things that they're holding on to. So they'll ridicule you. They'll say, hey, you're going to go on a trip. I hope your luggage won't get lost. They'll guilt you into various things like, well, what about the kids? You're just going to leave your kids behind? You're not going to miss them or anything? So there are going to be some guilt aspects in there. Then they're going to do things like shame you. Like, gee, what would the neighbors think if they found you, just going to Paris or going to all these places? It doesn't matter. I really didn't factor in their limited beliefs when I made this decision. That's what it comes down to, right? You make all decisions based on you for a change. If you're a mother and you're an amazing mother, and most mothers the ones I've met, they're just amazing. They've given everything to their kids, everything to their spouse, everything to their family. It's always been they were the last ones to eat. They were you give everything for so many years, and then something clicks after a certain, it's not so much age, but it's so much a maturity, I guess is a better word, is a mental maturity. Is just that, you know what, now it's time for me. Now it's time that I got to start nurturing myself. The kids are fine. They'll always be fine. We start to understand that, kids, we're just there to make sure that they survive. We're not there to make sure they get all the things that we get because, spirit guy gets that. They'll get all the things that they need to survive in life. I just got to not be in the way. And when a mothers get to a certain point, and fathers as well, but I see it most times in mothers, so it goes out to them that it's now time for you. It's now time for you to make a decision on you. What do you want to do? What is your passion? Because the last thing we want, and when I say we, the last thing Spirit wants to hear is when you're on your deathbed, you would look back at your life. Oh, I had the chance when I was young and mobile and my body was still working pretty well, and I didn't do these trips. I didn't just go on an excursion. I just didn't just go. And sometimes, and I heard it so well, recently I did an interview with Marissa Hanawick, and she's a lady from Paris. And she basically picked up everything she had in Canada, and she just picked up her bags and moved to Vancouver. Then she moved to Paris and various other places. And one of the questions was, how did you do that without thinking, my God, you don't even know what country you're going into because you're being led? And she says, I was following. And she says, very simple, Tony, I just didn't give myself enough time to talk myself out of it. So that says a lot, doesn't it? It's not the fact that we're not getting these messages. We are. But what are we doing with them? We're holding on, we're hesitating, and eventually the belief system kicks in. Oh, what do you want to do with just pack up everything? You know what it's going to cost for the movers? Do you know what it's going to be like to go to another country? You got to learn the language because she didn't know French. So she's learning the language of that country. So that's how raw this was. She says, I had to go before I talked myself out of it. And it's very, very great wisdom. Yeah, that was just an excerpt there. I'm gonna for this, I'm gonna post the link for that as a gift, just so you could see the whole thing. All right, it's in the chat. All right, enjoy it. That was part 3. We're doing part 4 this Friday, and we're going to talk more about that and really how to get the spontaneity. But I think we're going to be addressing more of the things that are in the way and how to get them out of there. So it's not so much putting freedom in you, that's already in you. It's more like taking the things out that is in the way of getting all the things you want. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, enjoy. Bernie, do you have a quote that you can put us, because we're at 9 o'clock? And
Tony, coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. Henry Ford.
thank you very much, Bernie. And for those of you that are on Facebook Live, thank you so much for joining us. YouTube and then LinkedIn. Looking forward to seeing you. We won't be online next week because we have an in-person meeting, but the week after we will be there. But on the Monday and the Wednesday group, we will still be on Zoom. So looking forward to seeing you then, catching up with you then. Be safe. Know that you matter. Drive safely. Have a great weekend, and we'll hope you have a great time. And we'll see you next time. Okay. Bye now. All right. All right.